and say hi from up here. But you know, we are at a point right now where the polls consistently say we've got 2/3. We've got 66% of the public says get out of the war in Afghanistan. And that got us yesterday 21% of the U.S. House of Representatives. You need about a little over 3 times the support in the public. So it works out that if we could get 162% of the public, we could end the war. Right? So obviously we don't need more than 1% of the public. If we did what it takes and we shut this town down and we were dedicated, we could end this, war. But the problem with just the opinion polls is that we oppose the wars too damn late. You have a majority support going into Iraq, and then years later say, oops, we never should have. And same with Afghanistan, and same with Libya. We have an acceptance of various flavors of war when they're sold to us, and then we learn, and then we say, no, we shouldn't have, and we're powerless to stop the war in comparison to what we could have done more easily to prevent it. This is why I wrote a book called War is a Lie, to take away the idea that there might be a good war someday around the corner, and keep the machinery in place so that we have it to use when that war comes. To build the understanding that not just this war is wrong after 8 years, this war is wrong after 10 years, but there can never ever be any war that isn't wrong and immoral and illegal. If the 20th century didn't prove that, the portion of the 21st century that we've had so far has already proved it. If you look at when we went and set up a no-fly zone for Iraq, you know, we've had 2 decades working on Iraq. You look at a couple of weeks in Egypt and what you're able to do with other tools other than war. The no-fly zone in Iraq turned into an escalation and a massive war and occupation under another president. And the fact is that the UN resolution from last night on Libya will be sitting there for all future US presidents, including the ones from the bad party. Right? So no matter what faith you put in the current war president, you have to put that same faith in every potential president to come, because we went into Iraq on the basis of a resolution that didn't remotely say we could go into Iraq. Now we have a resolution that says we can do anything in Libya. It's stronger. And wars, when you start them, no matter how you start them, cannot be controlled. And the real motivations that drive them are not as advertised. If they were as advertised, we would have a problem with Bahrain. We would have a problem with Yemen. We would be demanding a no-fly zone for Gaza. This is not on the agenda. Obama has now listed requirements, and he hasn't said that's all there is to it, that Gaddafi must comply with, or else. Or else what? It's up to him. And this will build terrorism. This will build antagonism and unpopularity. It will please Al-Qaeda as well as the US Senate. It will build the imperial presidency here at home. And we have a president who defers to the military on everything. We have generals who do PR campaigns across the country and publicly instruct the president which wars to escalate and how much. We have someone ask the president if it's okay with him to put someone in a 6x12 cell and force him to stand naked and so forth, and the president says, well, I'll ask the military. We have senators, we have Department of Defense officials, we have think tankers who go over to Afghanistan, come back, find out they were treated to a psychological operation. In other words, they were lied to and deceived by professionals about the supposed progress in Afghanistan, and they demand that the Department of Defense look into it. Right? There is a deference to the military that is extremely dangerous at this point. And Obama claims that this is our choice. Nothing or the military. He claimed this today, and he claimed this in his Peace Prize acceptance speech when he said that Dr. Martin Luther King was wrong. That you have a choice of war or nothing. And yet, if you look back through the past century, non-violent campaigns to undo tyranny have been over twice as successful as violent ones. This isn't hypothetical anymore. Libya only has to look to its left or right at Tunisia or Egypt. Right? We cannot stand for being told we have no choices. Egyptians studied Martin Luther King Jr. This did far more good for them than the Pentagon is going to do for Libya. We should be providing humanitarian aid without the military. We should be providing nonviolent strategy and advocacy and organizing, and we should be dropping our support for the dictators around the region in all of the other countries. But as I began, we cannot do this with majority opinion alone. We cannot do this without massive Egyptian, Wisconsin pressure on these people. And Congress is not a doorway in. Congress is cut out. I imagine some people in this room are aware that you can't go to a war without Congress, even with the United Nations. But Congress is not going to be voting on this. So we have to do everything that you all know how. We have to educate, we have to organize, we have to litigate, we have to demonstrate, we have to get in the way, and we have to be there tomorrow at the White House in huge numbers. Everybody who raised their hand has to bring 10 people with them. And I just got off the phone with Congressman Dennis Kucinich, who is writing a letter. He sent a letter to all of his colleagues saying that Congress has to say yes or no to a war. But he also has just found out from the Department of Defense that he is allowed to meet with Bradley Manning. Wow. There's a catch. But there's a catch. They aren't going to tell Bradley Manning this, and Bradley Manning has to put Dennis Kucinich on the list of approved visitors without knowing that he wants to be on there, and all of the current approved visitors have been thrown off the list. This is the first branch of our government. 535 people. We're down to one of them who gives a damn. And they won't let him have any oversight. And their argument before they got to this scam was that it was for the sake of the privacy of the young man that they forced to stand naked. Be at Quantico on Sunday in huge numbers.